Ready, Rich?
Trying to figure it out. So.
I'm going to do a moment of silence for Johnny Lilly.
Everybody's kid.
Ready?
All good when you are.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of City Council, Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
Dr. Arthur? Here. Councilmember English?
Here.
Councilmember Gomez?
Here.
Councilmember Vargas? Here. President Spinelli?
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Call them up, saboteurs.
Oh, Saboteur children, come on up.
Grab your chair.
That's all right, thank you. Parents want to get pictures? Got a gift.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It is always nice to see our youth come to these council meetings and participate in the activities, especially honoring our country. At this time, we're going to have a moment of silence. People in City Hall have lost a good friend and a great employee for our Director of the Electric Utility, John Lilly. Thank you.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act has been given on December 11, 2024 by the City Clerk in the following manner. Posting written notice on the official bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, providing written notice to the offices of the Daily Journal and Press of Atlantic City, and filing written notice in the office of the City Clerk of the City of Vineland.
Chair will entertain a motion that the minutes of the pre-meeting conference and regular meeting of February 25th, 2025, and the work session of March 4th, 2025 be approved as submitted.
So moved. Second?
Any discussion by council? Seeing none?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. At this time, we'd like to have Rachel Lipoff come up, Director of the Red Cross. We have a commending resolution from City Council. Come on. Don't be shy. There you go. All right. Me either. All right. We're going to read this into the record for you. Whereas during the American Red Cross Month in March, we recognize the compassion of people in Vineland and reaffirm our commitment to care for one another in times of crisis. And whereas this generous spirit is woven into the fabric of our community and advances the humanitarian legacy of the American Red Cross founder, Clara Barton, one of the most honored women in our country's history, who nobly dedicated herself to alleviating suffering. And whereas today, kind-hearted individuals in our community exemplify Barton's commitment as they step up through the American Red Cross New Jersey region to provide a beacon of hope for our neighbors in need. And whereas through their voluntary and selfless contributions, they make a life-saving difference in people's darkest hours. Whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospital patients, supporting military family and veterans and caregivers through the unique challenges of service, saving lives with first aid, CPR, and other skills, or delivering aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crisis. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Vineland, New Jersey, commend the American Red Cross and designate March 2025 as American Red Cross Month, and encourage all citizens to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. Thank you very much, and congratulations. If you'd like to say a few words, you can step up to that microphone over there.
Wanted a picture with
Oh, she can get a picture if she likes. She can come right up.
up here? Okay. Al's gonna.
And thank you for taking a picture, because they want this. I won't keep anybody. I just wanted to say thank you so much. Our relationship with the City of Vineland and with your community is so important to the American Red Cross, and we're just so grateful to be able to work with you to help keep everyone safe, both in Vineland and in the communities surrounding it. So thank you so much for this. I'm honored.
Thank you. Mr. Franchetta.
Mr. President, I present the assessment and local improvements for the Cavallo Drive Sewer Project, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair will entertain a motion that the assessment and local improvements for the Cavallo Drive Sewer Project be given a public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes. At this time, we have Brian. Do you want him to give a statement, Mr. Solicitor?
Yes, my name is Brian Conover. I'm the tax assessor for the city of Vineland. I took a review of the project for the Cavallo Drive sewer project, and I went out and inspected the properties. The project's complete. The original cost of the project was estimated at $17,591 equally per the 10 properties. It actually came in at $16,275.54 each. So it came in under budget. The project is complete. I was over there inspecting it back in February. I believe it was 13th. I inspected the property. Drove up and down the street. All the lines are complete. The patchwork's finished. Everything's ready to go. I do believe the project is a specific cost benefit to the residents of that street, which are approximately 10 properties that would benefit from the project. And I have submitted a report which has been sent to the owners, and also council, you have a copy of the report. And there's a map up here showing where the sewer line goes to each property. If anyone has any questions, I'm here to take questions from people of the street.
All right, at this time, is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard? We will call him by signature up here who gave them.
Mr. President, first up is Fausto Castro, and then next would be Carmen Yemenez.
Good afternoon, everyone, right here. I'm here representing the Iglesia Hispana Presbiteriana Betel, which owns property on 2476 Cavallo Drive. And the reason why we're here is because actually we are being charged for a sewer line service which we did not receive. Because on February, no, I'm sorry, it was on October 2nd of 2012, we have done this sewerage service not placed on Caballo Drive. It was done on Palermo Avenue. So since then, we already had this sewerage service. So right now, we just got some documents right here, which is the construction permit issued by the city of Vineland on that date. And we also have some other documents, such as checks and a regular invoice of the job that is being done on this property on the year of 2012. I don't know if any of you guys want to take a look at this, because this was done back then.
If the solicitor would like to look at it, he can.
Yeah, because actually this property is located right in the corner in Palermo Avenue and Caballo Drive. It's right there in the corner. But this sewerage line, we've been using it since 2012. Actually, we received a letter, which I don't see it right here right now, with where we were supposed to be considered as the rest of the house owners as a beneficiary of this service. But like I said, we haven't received that service at this time because we already have this done back in 2012.
Yes, I believe your property was exempt from that. We had received notification from the Land and Sewage Authority that your property had already hooked in, and therefore, the Cavallo Drive project was not part of the assessment for your property.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Rich?
All right, next up is Carmen Jimenez. Carmen Jimenez. Then after that, we have Jan Dwyer Lobiondo. Answered the question?
Yeah, you answered the question that we have.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Next up, Jan Dwyer Lobiondo. Then after that, Victor Nishay.
Jan Dwyer Lobiondo, 2506 Cavallo Drive. I know this is probably not going to get any further than I know what's going to happen, but I think it's constructive information for how this all started. And it was with uncertified letters, with which we've already talked about. It also talked about when I called the very first letter when we had to vote. I had some questions after discussing with people on the street and everything. I had questions, so I called who's ever the department at that time, that name, and the person was busy, and I never heard back again. We had to turn in our vote by a certain time. I didn't hear from them, so I literally came here with my paper to ask the questions, and downstairs wanted to send me to the Board of Health or something. But then I said, no, that's not what I need, and I gave them the right information. And they called upstairs, and the person was in a meeting. So I had to hand in my vote without all the information I kind of wanted. So I know this isn't going to dramatically change anything that's going to happen, but I think constructively for the future, I think this got off on a very poor footing. And we've been racing to do catch-up, and I think that kind of stirred the pot of feelings and frustrations and aggravation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, Victor Nishay. Then after that, we have Brian Danner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Distinguished City Council members, I, Victor Nshai, of 2500 Cavallo Drive, Vineland, on my own behalf, and I believe on behalf of several affected my fellow neighbors, declare our strong protest against the undue process initiation and handling with regard to Cavallo Drive Sewerage Extension Project during 2021-2024, which brought us all to these implications. Let me bring your attention back to March 2021. The so-called petition, a handwritten quasi-document starting from which all this process was initiated, had been compiled by a City of Vineland employee who incidentally resides then and resides still on Cavallo Drive, and thus seemed to be the most interested in the project and the most motivated party. We see that as conflict of interests. The paper has a questionable list of 6 property owners who presumably petitioned for sewerage extension on Cavallo Drive. This quasi-document was not properly dated, nor had any signature as required by its heading. During the regular Vineland City Council meeting on March 9, 2021, the clerk presented to the council this so-called petition and requested the petition to be received, filed, and forwarded to the business administrator and the Land Use Sewerage Authority for study. Nobody challenged authenticity and/or fulfillment of all the necessary and sufficient legal requirements for such a petition. At least one of those listed there, petitioners, seemed to be fraudulently added to the list since he has already connected ready arrangements from Palermo Avenue. Later on, he actually voted against the project and was gracefully excluded from affected property owners on Cavallo Drive. The other 3 property owners out of 11 property owners on Cavallo Drive, as stated by City Council later, voted for the project and thus decided for us all. The City Council calls that majority vote. Regarding voting form itself, there was no clear explanation on it that not voting as well as not as voting against still would bring forth financial implications, even for those who did not vote or voted against. Even more, the original voting forms were not served by certified mail and thus were lacking credibility and legality. The latest re-voting conducted in 1924 clearly indicates that 7 of 11 Cavallo Drive property owners were obviously against the project. These properly dated and signed voting forms were timely submitted to the City of Vineland and should be on file. Distinguished City Council members, it is time to acknowledge all the violations against the due process admitted by city officials and by this council with regard to the sewage extension project initiation and its handling. Please accept full responsibility for the negligence, wrongdoing, and implications thereof, instead of putting on us, the affected property owners, the additional tax burden. Thank you. Please attach it to the minutes.
Right there to the solicitor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Brian Danner. Brian Danner.
Good evening, City Council.
Evening.
I'm Brian Danner, resident of 2485 Cavallo Drive. So, same thing, I'm kind of up in arms about how this whole project was conducted, how it was initiated, and such forth. So, for me, this is how the events transpired, as far as the construction and build up to this project. And when I refer to you guys, it's the City of Vineland. You guys sent out a casting vote letter by regular postage, not certified mail. The vote turns out to be a yes, apparently by only 3 residents. And next thing I know or hear, construction is going to start next week. There was no follow-up city council meeting for that initial vote. Why was there no follow-up meeting? Are we able to answer that tonight?
No.
Okay, thank you. There was never a letter mailed out stating that there was a follow-up meeting to review the results of the vote. It is my understanding by law, you are supposed to have a finalized meeting with the neighborhood as such as we are doing here today. I also would like to mention that the city official that was signing off on some of the paperwork is also a resident of Cavallo Drive that orchestrated this whole project being initiated. He's the one signing off on paperwork to get this pushed through. I believe there's a conflict of interest. The city needs to be held responsible for the cost of this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that didn't sign in who would like to speak?
Okay.
Entertain a motion to close it, maybe?
Yes. Chair will entertain a motion, the public hearing on Cavallo Drive Sewer Project be closed.
So move. Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
And President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present resolution number 2025-128, a resolution confirming assessment in the matter of local improvements made under ordinance number 2021-75 as amended, Cavallo Drive.
Chair entertains a motion that the resolution number 2025-128 be adopted according to law.
So move. Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
We'll open up the public comment, general public comment portion of the meeting. Public comment provides an opportunity for the members of the public to inform the government body about their views. The governing body prescribes the City Council's bylaws and the New Jersey statutes on open public meetings when engaging during public comment. As such, each individual shall have a 5-minute limit to comment, cannot yield time to another individual, may only approach the podium once during any one topic. Vulgar offensive language is prohibited, and City Council will not engage with dialogue with the public during this time. The governing body maintains model courtesy and respect and requires the members of the public to do the same.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard? Seeing no one, we'll close the public comment portion.
I present ordinance number 2025-9, ordinance amending ordinance 96-4 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, Sections 425-293, entitled B1 Business Zone Standards, Section 425-294, entitled B2 Business Zone Standards, Section 425-295 entitled B3 Business Zone Standards, 425-298 entitled IN1 Institutional Zone Standards, in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board, which is ready for a continued public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-9 be reopened for continued public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
No.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
No, it's
No.
yes.
Yes, that's a yes.
Councilman Vargas?
No.
This is yes. This is to open the,
This
this
is
is
just
public
open.
hearing.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is just to open the meeting. So I'll go, well,
Can I go back?
Please.
yeah,
Yes.
we're opening the meeting. English?
Yes.
Gomez?
Yes.
Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to be heard on ordinance number 2025-9? And please keep your comments, if you come up dealing with the zoning issue. We also understand the relevance and importance of other things that have come up here, but they are not pertaining to what the ordinance is doing.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I proceed.
Name and
Thank you. Yes, I'm Chris Stockney, professional planner with CME Associates. We were retained by your city solicitor's office to review the draft ordinances that had been submitted and I believe had been discussed at your February meeting, ordinances 2025-09 and 10. And if it's okay, I can make a brief presentation about both of those ordinances together, if that's okay.
you can do that. Yeah.
So we had reviewed those ordinances and prepared a brief report, sort of summarizing what was in those ordinances, as well as some recommendations for some additional changes based on the comments we heard from the public from the meeting a month
Mic
ago.
up, please.
Oh, sorry. Is that a little better?
That's better.
I cannot, this isn't moving as well, but I can just lean down. Okay, so to go through this relatively quickly, we reviewed those ordinances, which it seems the crux of them was to refine your definitions to a few terms in your current code, which are the medical office, office professional office, business office, as well as to have some new, additional revisions to a substance abuse counseling or treatment center, as well as to define new terms being a mental health counseling or treatment center and a service office. We have brought forward a new ordinance with some minor revisions to those changes to essentially, in addition to those uses, to have further defined terms in your code of a harm reduction center, as well as a sterile syringe program, which would clarify what I think the heart of the issue was that was discussed last month, is that a substance abuse treatment center, or I'm sorry, substance abuse counseling or treatment center, medical office, as well as hospital, you have a lot of different terms in your code, but none, I think, adequately address what a harm reduction facility is or harm reduction center, and in particular, the sterile syringe program, which is also can be known as needle exchange, safe syringe access. There's about 7 or 8 different acronyms used for those types of programs, but what we're recommending here and put in this new ordinance is that you just get straight to the heart of the matter and you include a definition for a harm reduction center, taking that straight from the state of New Jersey's definition in the Harm Reduction Act, as well as a definition of a sterile syringe program, which is essentially a needle exchange or needle disbursement program. So you have those specifically defined in your code, and then also within the code, within your zoning ordinance, you specify exactly where and how they would be permitted, as opposed to your current ordinance, as well as what was in the last drafts of 2025-09 and 10, which didn't quite directly address those exact uses, but could be interpreted as being permitted within a substance abuse counseling or treatment center or a medical office. It removes a little bit of that gray area of where these types of uses would and should be permitted. So to that effect, I'll skip over a lot of our report here. What we are recommending, and that's what's in these 2 ordinances now, is that essentially a harm reduction center, as defined by the state, would be permitted in your institutional zone by right, a flat-out permitted use, and would be a conditionally permitted use in the B3 zone, which is essentially up and down Delsey Drive and a few other pockets in the city, that sort of at higher intersections. And that a sterile syringe program be permitted as an accessory use to a harm reduction center if it's in the IN1 zone, as well as, it'd be permitted only as an accessory use to a harm reduction center in the IN1 zone, and not be permitted essentially anywhere else as a fixed location use. We do note in our report, as well as in the ordinance, that something like a sterile syringe program would be permitted under state law if someone is authorized by the state to operate one of those programs. If it's not in a fixed location, it's not really covered by zoning, so it would be permitted to essentially have a van or a small truck or even operate out of the trunk of a car. They can go around the city or even to other locations, whether that's Bridgeton, Millville, up in Franklinville, where else, and do on-site deliveries at the specified times and locations. That wouldn't be covered by the zoning ordinance necessarily, but we do note that if a harm reduction center or substance abuse treatment center were authorized to provide those sorts of services, they would be allowed to do so as long as it's not at a fixed location unless it's in the IN1 zone. And then we further make a few recommendations and some potential changes as to where, clarifying where medical offices are permitted, where mental health counseling is permitted. Another one, just minor change, one of the things we clarified from the previous draft of the ordinance is we had a little concern over the way a mental health counseling facility was defined. That could be interpreted as being, any basic therapist's office, and then the way it was listed in your previous draft of the code would have prohibited that from most districts in town, and I don't think that was really appropriate. Something a general, marriage counseling, family counseling, somebody who's just going to a counselor or a therapist for, general depression. That's really basically just a medical office, just a little bit different in that it's not a medical doctor or dentist, but maybe a licensed clinical therapist or a licensed counselor. They have their own 7 or 8 sets of acronyms for the different types of counselors, but that essentially be treated the same as a medical office and permitted in the same districts. So I see my time is running a little low, but that's in the 5-minute nutshell of we've made a few revisions to the previous drafts of the ordinance based on reviewing some literature on harm reduction centers. And this is where we feel in the IN1 district in particular would be the most appropriate location for it, as well as there's potential for those types of uses as a conditional use in the B3 zone, provided that they are provided, their conditions being it's a safe distance away from schools, parks, playgrounds, generally anywhere that children might congregate. And that, I think that in a nutshell is what we have proposed in the updated ordinances. That being said, it looks like my time is done, but I am here. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Does council have any questions of this gentleman?
Where is he from?
CME Planning?
Yes, if you need, do you need an address?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
We're CME Associates, that's Consulting and Municipal Engineers.
Thank you.
Certainly, yes, and actually the report is dated yesterday, March 10th, but I believe it was submitted this morning to council. I do have a few extra hard copies of that if your clerk needs a hard copy.
Yeah. I'll
But you have it into the record already, right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
do, yeah. All right,
All right.
thank you.
Seeing no other questions?
All right,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. We appreciate your help. Anyone else?
I have Elizabeth, it looks like Meenan, Elizabeth Meenan.
State your name and the town you live in, please.
Sure, Elizabeth Meenan, Ocean View, New Jersey, obviously. I'm here for ordinance 2025-9, an express concern regarding the prohibition of mental health and substance use services in zones B1 and B2. Mental health and substance use providers are medical professionals. We are licensed, dedicated individuals to help serve the well-being of our communities and to help touch the lives of the most vulnerable individuals in our communities. I have the pleasure of administering several mental health services in Cumberland County. I know B2 zone indicates that services or businesses allowed would be to provide specific convenience to surrounding communities. Allowing mental health and substance use services inclusive of harm reduction centers provides convenience to those individuals who live in those communities and who have access to service to get to those providers, to receive service, to get better, to recover, so they can be positive contributing members of our community and feel safe and secure where they are. Moving these services to industrial zoning limits access to service, limits access to care, limits the ability for individuals to seek and receive consistent services to support their mental health and recovery well-being. I know the idea is that we move individuals who might be considered undesirable for our businesses out of the area, but that does not create a healthy community. Doing this will actually increase your incidence of crisis events. It is not going to make individuals who are using substances leave the areas in which they are familiar to be. It is only going to remove the professionals who are able to respond quickly when they need help. It'll only make it more difficult for a mental health professional to access an individual who needs their services if we're no longer in the areas in which our individuals who we see are able to get to. I ask you reconsider. I ask you consider that we are actual businesses, we are mental health providers, and also primary care physicians who are allowed in B1 zone for medical offices and professionals have the ability to provide psychiatric medication as well as MAT for substance use services. So really you're moving the boots on the ground and your therapist people away from service, away from the community. But your individuals, your community members are going to receive medication only because that's probably all they can get access to. And that's not going to be the most effective means for treating your community and creating a strong, healthy environment for Vineland. It's just going to limit access. It's going to increase your crisis. It's going to increase police response. And most likely you're going to see an influx of individuals who are continuing to suffer from substance abuse without access to needed services. Well, I understand that, but our individuals don't live where the hospitals are, right? They live in communities and neighborhoods. So when we move individuals and we move services away from easy access, it increases their likelihood of missing appointments. You know, I read the ordinance and I checked the zones to see what it was. I get that having providers near hospitals is helpful, but they need to be in the communities in which the people we serve live. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else that hasn't signed in that'd like to speak on ordinance 9? Mr. President, I have a couple emails that were asked by Mayor Finucci to read into the record. I'll paraphrase them
Okay.
for the spirit of efficiency here. So I have a Courtney and Anthony McKenzie wrote to the mayor saying they voiced their concerns about the needle dispensary. They're not opposed to mental health facilities, but they're opposed to needle dispensaries in safe places that do drugs like heroin. They go on to say about how they've lost family members because of this, and they don't want to have to consider moving out of the area. They suddenly have a huge problem with drug addicts. Having a place that will bring more addicts, in my opinion. With more addicts comes more crime in the area, which will spread. We couldn't make it to City Hall meeting, and I meant to send this email sooner. I apologize. I hope this reaches you in time that you can take my opinion into considerations. Thank you so much for your time. Is Andrew Davis here? I have a email from Andrew Davis. Andrew Davis is a security officer for Newfield National Bank, and he says that he's reaching out on 2 matters. You may or may not know Newfield National Bank is in the process of opening a new branch, and it's at the corner of Landis and Main. His job, obviously, is to protect the interests of the bank. He is very concerned with the location could create an environment that could put the public safety at risk. Allowing the needle exchange into an area where this is a great target-rich environment of elderly and vulnerable people who may have large sums of money is a recipe for disaster. He did offer a solution and said that possibly if they could move the bus stop directly from the bank to a new location, approximately maybe 200 yards east, he thought maybe that would help. And it's an excellent observational location where subjects could gather, watch potential targets, but they could move this down away from that area, which may help. And again, that was from Andrew Davis from Newfield National Bank. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-9 be closed.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion the ordinance number 2025-9 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move. Second.
Any discussion by council? Seeing none?
Seeing none?
Yes. Thank you. So if you have a no vote, you have to give a reason as well.
All right, go for a roll call vote. Dr. Arthur?
No, I would like some clarity on this, all of the definitions. I'm not really settled for what we've heard thus far, and this was brought to us tonight, so I would like to hear more. Thank you.
Councilmember English?
Yes, based on the many emails and phone calls I received, and now the testimony from CMN Associates detailed report this evening, I will be voting no as well. Thank you.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, based on testimony that we've received over the last couple months, I believe that changes had to be made to the original ordinance. So for that reason, I'm voting no.
Councilmember Vargas?
I also, based on the testimony emails received at this time, I also vote no.
Okay, and President Spinelli?
I'm also voting no due to the testimony and the constant changes, et cetera. Got kind of convoluted, and we're going to look to see if we can clean something up and get something a little bit better.
Okay, ordinance number 2025-9, ordinance amending ordinance 96-4 as amended, chapter 425, article 15, sections 425-293, entitled B1 Business Zone Standards, section 425-294, entitled B2 Business Zone Standards, sections 425-295, entitled B3 Business Zone Standards, 425-298, entitled IN1 Institutional Zone Standards, in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board. With a vote of 5 nays, this ordinance is defeated. I present ordinance number 2025-10, ordinance amending ordinance 96-4 as amended, chapter 425, article 15, section 425-270, entitled Word Uses, Definitions, to clarify the term office and substance abuse counseling or treatment center, and to consider other types of offices as defined terms in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board, which is ready for a continued public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-10 be reopened for a continued public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone who would like to be heard on ordinance number 2025-10?
I have Teresa Booth. Is Teresa Booth here? Okay.
Please state your name and the municipality where you live.
Sure. My name's Teresa Booth, and I live in Millville, but I'm the Senior Director of Child Development at the YMCA. I've been through all these hearings. I appreciate all the time and effort you've taken to listen to everybody's side. The only thing I want you to remember is we, at the Y, we're not opposed to the counseling. We're opposed to the needle exchange. We're still finding, we find alcohol bottles and drugs and all kinds of stuff when we look over our grounds, as a precaution for the kids. My concern is if somebody is careless with a needle, and now we have a child that has to live with wondering if they have HIV for the rest of their lives. So if you could just take that into consideration, I'd appreciate it. And so will the kids. We have a lot of kids in our care. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, Chair will entertain a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-10 be closed.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas? President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-10 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion by council? Seeing none?
Dr. Arthur?
Again, I'm going to vote no, and I ask for a bit more time to clarify some of these definitions before we decide which direction we're going to take.
Councilmember English?
And again, same type as Dr. Arthur there. After the many emails, calls, and even after hearing Ms. Booth so eloquently speak that, based on a testimony from our independent planner, CME Associates, thanks again for your detailed report as well. I'll be voting no this evening.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah. Based on the testimony again, we need to see a little bit more change in this ordinance. So for that reason, I'm also voting no.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes, based on all the testimony, emails, calls, and the CNM planner, I also vote no.
Right. President Spinelli?
I will vote no as well. Chris, thank you for your testimony. Appreciate it. I think it does clarify a lot of the definitions that were kind of vague before. So once again, we're looking for a better engine. So we'll vote this down and we'll try to find something better.
Ordinance number 2025-10, ordinance amending ordinance 96-4 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, Section 425-270, entitled Word Uses, definitions to clarify the term office and substance abuse counseling or treatment center, and to consider other types of offices as defined in terms in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board. With a vote of 5 noes, this ordinance is defeated. I present ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which revised the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland Public Defender, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-16 be taken up for public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on ordinance number 2025-16? Seeing no one, Chair will entertain a motion. The public hearing on ordinance number 2025-16 be closed.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-16 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas? President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which provides the classification and compensation plans with the City of Vineland Public Defender. With a vote of 5 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-16 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes. I present ordinance number 2025-17, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland, Vineland Police Captains Association, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-17 be taken up for public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember English? Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on ordinance number 2025-17? Seeing none, Chair entertain a motion the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-17 be closed.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-17 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion by council? Seeing none,
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
yes.
Ordinance number 2025-17, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which establishes classification compensation plans for the City of Vineland Police Captains Association with a vote of 5 yeas. This ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-17 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes.
Thank you.
I present ordinance number 2025-18, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland Superior Officers Association, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-18 be taken up for a public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on ordinance number 2025-18? Seeing no one, Chair entertains a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-18 be closed.
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-18 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-18, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland Superior Officers Association. With a vote of 5 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-18 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes.
Thank you.
I present ordinance number 2025-19, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-19 be taken up for first reading.
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-19, ordinance amending ordinance 2012-8, entitled An Ordinance Adopting Resolution Number 5989 of the Vineland Planning Board recommending the redevelopment plan for the Newcomb Hospital site as amended by ordinance 2018-27, permitting the construction of 4-story buildings for seniors on blocks 4216, lots 1.01 and 1.02, so as to further allow a 4-story building on block 4216, lots 1.03 and 1.05.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-19 be passed for first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-20, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 25-20 be taken up for first reading.
So moved.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-20. Ordinance amending ordinance 2019-57 and ordinance 2022-49, as amended, Chapter 687, Part 4, Article 18 of the Code of the City of Vineland entitled Water Sewer Utility Rights Reserved Rates.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-20 be passed for first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-21, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-21 be taken up for first reading.
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-21, ordinance amending ordinance 2011-5, as amended, Chapter 687, Part 1, Article 7A, Section 687-68.4 of the Code of the City of Vineland entitled Electric Service Discount to Water Utility Expiration.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-21 be passed for first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-22, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-22 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-22, ordinance appropriating $1,800,000 even from the Water Utilities Capital Improvement Fund for various improvements to the Vineland Municipal Water Utility in and by the City of Vineland in the County of Cumberland, New Jersey.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-22 be passed for first reading, that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-23, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-23 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-23. Ordinance appropriating $10,600,000 even from the Electric Utilities Capital Improvement Fund for various improvements to the Vineland Municipal Electric Utility in and by the City of Vineland in the County of Cumberland, New Jersey.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-23 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-24, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-24 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-24, bond ordinance providing for improvements to various roads and related drainage and sidewalk improvements in and by the City of Vineland in the County of Cumberland, New Jersey, appropriating $6 million even therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,700,000 even bonds or notes of the city to finance the part of the cost thereof.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-24 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-25, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-25 be taken up for first reading.
Move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-25, an ordinance approving the annual connection fee schedule established by the City of Vineland Water Utility for the year 2014 pursuant to ordinance number 89-105.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-25 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-26, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-26 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-26, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the City of Vineland in the County of Cumberland, New Jersey, appropriating $9,200,000 even therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $8,740,000 even bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
You have a typo on that, you know.
I do.
There's no A in bonds.
There's no what?
No A in bonds.
Oh, thank you.
The President entertains a motion, the Chair entertains a motion, ordinance number 2025-26 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-27, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-27 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-27. Ordinance amending Ordinance 96-4 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, Sections 425-10, entitled Word Usage, Definitions to clarify certain terms, including office and substance abuse counseling for treatment center, and to consider additional types of offices and harm reduction centers as defined terms in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-27 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second?
All right. Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Read in ordinance number 2025-27. I'll read it again. Ordinance amending Ordinance 96-4 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, Sections 425-293, entitled B1 Business Zones. Excuse me. I apologize. I'm reading. Ordinance amending Ordinance 96-4 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, Sections 425-10, entitled Word Usage, Definitions to clarify certain terms, including office and substance abuse counseling or treatment centers, and to consider additional types of offices and harm reduction centers as defined in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-28 be passed for first reading. Not an ordinance, this is 28, right?
27.
27, I'm sorry,
passed.
we went out of order, right?
All right.
Be passed for first reading, and that said ordinance be referred to the planning board for their review as to whether the proposal is substantially consistent with the city's redevelopment plan and to provide findings of fact and recommendations thereof. Is there any discussion by council?
We just need a motion for that.
Okay.
So move.
Second?
Okay. Discussion.
Discussion? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Now I have ordinance number 2025-28, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-28 be passed for first reading, and that said ordinance be referred to the planning board for the review as to whether the proposal is substantially consistent with the city's redevelopment plan and to provide findings of fact and recommendations thereof. In motion.
So move.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present resolution number 2025-114, a resolution reappointing Albert Vargas, a member of the governing body, as a member of the Board of Directors of the Police Athletic League.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-114 be adopted according to law.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Abstain.
Abstain. President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present resolution number 2025-115, a resolution appointing Christopher Wilson as a member of the Board of Directors for the Police Athletic League.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-115 be adopted according to law.
So move.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Abstain?
Abstain. Member English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
The following matters listed in the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the City Council and be approved by one motion. Yeah. we need a motion.
Need a motion.
Need a motion on it to adopt that resolution? Yeah,
Second?
okay. Any discussion?
Any discussion? Seeing none.
Okay. Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
And President Spinelli?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Franchetta, do we have to read these communications in, or are they under consent?
No, the communications are under consent.
Okay. Chair entertains a motion that, to approve all items on the consent agenda.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. All right, this will give council opportunity to be heard if they wish. Dr. Arthur?
First of all, thank you to the Sabatier students for coming. I didn't, it's always a pleasure to have the kids come before us. So thank you again to them, and also condolences to the Lilly family pray that they find peace in knowing that their loved one is not suffering. So God bless them. That's it.
Gomez?
Yes. Want to thank the Sabatier School for the Pledge of Allegiance. That was probably one of the most emphatic Pledge of Allegiances I've heard in a while. They were loud and strong. So thank you for coming out. Want to thank the Rachel Lipoff from American Red Cross for all the work that you've done. Also want to thank the residents and the professionals that have testified for this the zoning issue. We're trying to get it right? We're going to work as a council and as administration to get this right. So thank you.
Councilman Vargas?
Well, again, condolences to John Lilly. Met him a couple years ago and made a lot of impact in the city, to me as a friend, and he will be missed. Again, thank you to the kids from Sabatier School for coming out. It's always great to see the kids come out, and this is actually the first school that I've heard with the high pitch. They were pumped up.
And loud.
So if we're gonna say, I guess Sabatier's got the number one right now, but no, it's always nice to see all the kids come out, and that's about it. Thank you.
In English?
Yeah, I'm going to echo that as well. That energetic Sabatier flag salute was outstanding. I come from high school kids, so you know what, to get them to do it, it's tough. So to hear that, it's refreshing. And I'd like to thank Dr. Arthur as well, because you round them kids up each time, and it's good to get them out here. Condolences to the Lilly family. John Lilly, we go way back to when I was just a young boy. I know John before he took a position here. When he would get laid off every now and then, when the union was slow, he, I want to say, had the pleasure to work for my father in the plumbing business. And I was just a young whippersnapper at the time, but John was really an iconic figure for the Minatola and Landisville area. And you really have to divide that area well, because you say Minatola wrong or Landisville wrong, you know what you're getting. But he was just iconic and just a great role model for really a lot of members of the community and myself as well, as I was just growing up. And he's leaving a long legacy behind him. Great family man, great daughter. When you look at Lauren, you see John. He will be missed by many and known as a man with just sincere integrity, and people like that are very hard to come across. When I heard he was hired here in Vineland, I was like, that kudos to a good one right there, you know. And unfortunately, the battle pancreatic cancer got him, and that's a tough one. I don't know him to ever lose any battle. So, like all of us, we have to meet the maker someday, and hey, you know what? It is what it is. And then finally, over this past weekend, it's just something hit home. As many of you know, I teach over at Delsey, and two students tragically lost their life, Delsey students, and one other young man as well. As it's getting warmer now, we tend to get lost in the shuffle of spring and summer, and it's important to pay attention to what's going on out there. You know, accidents do happen, but boy, it can change in a split second. And my thoughts and prayers go with that community. Anybody knows Franklinville, tight-knit community, and, you know, they're our neighbors, so you know what? Say a little prayer for those families this evening. And then finally, the education I got the past few months on the substance abuse discussion and the zoning, it's really hit home because I talk with my fellow members, you know, it's also kind of personal to me as well because I dealt with it in my family. And this group up here, they're not turning the cheek. They just want what is best for the city of Vineland. And we are not turning a cheek at the counseling or anything like that. The perception tends to cloud things at times. I love when people come and speak at the podium because it educates me, but I also like to take the time to do the homework, and I always encourage the people to maybe do the homework a little bit before coming to the podium. But again, thank you to both sides because I did learn a lot, and I'm continuing to learn a lot as I did after reading the last survey. So
5 minutes is
my
up.
5 minutes are up. I could probably go forever. Thank you for giving me that time. Thank you.
I was going to invoke it, Paul.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Doc. Listen, you got to start putting a timer on him. All right, again, everybody's right here. The Saboteur kids, man, that was great. That's the most enthusiastic Pledge of Allegiance I've heard. Again, the Red Cross for all they do. And again, a couple things. The Cavallo Drive situation, I think the city has owned the errors that we made there. And in so doing, we've also told those people, if you don't want to hook up, you don't have to. But when you do hook up, there's a cost to hooking up. And that's the way everybody else had to pay it when they hooked up. So will you if you decide that you need it. And on the zoning issue, a lot of hard work went into both sides. I'm sure we've heard a lot. We've taken a lot into consideration. And there's nobody up here that doesn't want to try to make the right decision for the majority of the people that live in Vineland. So that's the direction we're looking at. And that's the way I'm sure this council will vote their heart and their mind in the right direction. All right, I need a motion to close the meeting.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Adjourn, yes.
No, I changed my mind. It's not dark yet.